So we've got all this metal cleaned up right down to the bare metal. Again, I want to just, for those of you that weren't here last week, and by the way, thank you for my new subscribers. Guys, thanks a lot. It means the world to me. Comments help too, like, subscribe, all that. All right, so I cleaned up this metal, got it down to bare metal. We got good steel. We're going to put the inner rocker in. We've got the outer rocker on temporarily. It's got tech screws in the back and here in the front just to hold it. I mean, it is right where I want it. So we get that held into place. Let that be back now. We've got that right in place where we want it so that our door gaps are right. When we clean the metal off of the old original steel, I wanted an inch. I probably got 3/4 front and back, closer to an inch at this hump. I've got it sitting around there. I cleaned all the paint off, all the fiberglass, all that garbage off. The new rocker, I went ahead and cleaned off the coating on that too. I know the E-coat's supposed to be good, but I prefer to have it right bare metal. Plus, you have those 60-40 grit, whatever it was I used, sand marks. So that gives it some mechanical bonding. We're using the 3M structural strength panel bond. That will hold this inner rocker and floor combination together, hooked to the original floor. And think about what you're doing when you're putting on the panel bond. If you want to apply it to the panel or do you want to apply it to the vehicle? Doesn't usually matter, but in this case, I think I miscut in the back a little bit, so I might have to do some welding. And the front, we still have more work to do up here. We have more floor to cut out, but I want to get this door situated so I can get in here and lean in here and cut all my pieces and get my cab supports in, which I realize I have 3 of the right cab supports and one's not. Not really that big of a deal. We can cut it and manipulate it and make it fit, or I'll have Tom order one. But we still have those due. We got a lot of work to do on the floor. I just really want to get this door jamb area solid. So the outer rocker we'll do next. We're doing the inner rocker today. It's going to be in permanently. Then we can touch up the back and get it where I'm happy. Start working on the front and this inner kick panel. And we can get this outer rocker cleaned up, repainted, and recoated. Get it glued in there. And then we can move along. So I got the 3M bond right here, panel bond. And it mixes through the tip. So you don't have any mixing. It's an epoxy type 2-part. So it mixes together, comes out the M premix. You just buy new tips if you want to reuse these. You can cap them off. You're not losing the whole $75 in one little deal. So what I want to do, because I have less floor than I do body panel, I want to put this panel bond on my floor. What I didn't tell you was, you put the rocker or the new piece, whatever you're gluing, put it back in there one more time after you've cleaned all the metal up. Draw you one more scribe line to make sure you don't overcut. And then I take it back out, yes, I know, for like the 5th time. And I trim up any ugly parts that I can off of the original truck. Now I'm going to call it a 1/4 inch bead along this. This panel bond has glass beads in it. And people are like, what's that all about? Well, the glass beads keep you from over squeezing the 2 pieces of metal together, which would in essence squeeze out all your panel bond, and you wouldn't have much to adhere it together. So they put the little tiny glass beads in there, which stops your clamping. Now you can over clamp it, really just squeeze the dickens out of it. You can break those glass beads. Not generally a worry. Just snug things up real good. Get them together. Like I said, good and snug, whatever the heck that means. But just snug them up good. It's going to be fine. Don't have to clamp the beans out of it. I will note that when I was grinding this paint stuff off, I finally got all the mouth smell out of here. But when you start grinding on this thing, it brings it right back to life. Now, when they bent this groove right here, you're going to notice I go past. The replacement groove is not a perfect match. So I put a little extra in there, and then we'll just squeegee it out with our finger. Not critical. Not going for a Barrett Johnson truck here. Driver quality, people. Good, clean, solid driver. All right, that's it. It has a release on the back, but it's still going to spit a little bit. So I'll put it right up here and let it drip on that paper towel. Not that we can't grind out later. So I got a fair amount in that. I guess I should explain how this goes in, but this rocker, I'm going to touch it down. This inner rocker and floor structure can be slipped in. I've checked it a few times from the bottom on this one. So that's going to really keep me from struggling around my rocker. And as far as time goes, I've never really had an issue with it. You've got plenty of time. I think you got like an hour. Don't quote me. But I've never run out of time doing one of these, so I don't sweat it too much. So there it is. It kind of slipped in. I'm up to the line. I don't want to squeeze it down yet or put any tech screws in because this particular job I'm doing, the cab keeps wanting to push it forward just a little bit. So that's just, every one of them are a little different. I don't know where that pressure is coming from. I don't care. I can do it with myself. Over strength it. What I mean is there's bolt holes, 2 front, 2 back. And then there's 2 that are part of the next part in the truck. So I can use those holes to get me a screwdriver in there and get some pressure against that. And I can push it back and line it up. My panel bond's squeaking out already, which is good. I put a little extra on purpose. You want it to squeegee out just a little. And if you don't get the entire thing to squeeze out panel bond on you, that's okay, because we're going to use seam seal on it eventually anyway. So let's see about getting these bolts in. I should have tried this before I got on camera just to make sure I could do it, but we're doing her live and dirty. Got no luck there. Boy, they're lined up pretty nice. Why are you fighting me? Why you always gotta fight me all the time? I can see light. Now these are the pointy bolts, like what they use on the tailgate. So they should go right in there, and it's not. I'll gun you. Always, wow, while you're watching me. All right, I got that ready. Let's try. You gotta struggle sometimes, folks. I'm gonna try my impact wrench, so I gotta switch around to a different. I say impact. I'm gonna use my mini impact, and we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that in there. Now I ran those bolts through before I came on the camera. Oh, are you kidding me? So that they'd go right in, but that didn't happen. I don't understand. Oh, I do understand. You guys are watching. That's how this always works. I'm getting there. Be patient. I'm sweating. These pointy bolts with the washer on them, they're, I thought they were 9/16. Huh, it says 9/16. They're the same thing that you use like other places in the truck. These happen to come out of the tailgate from another truck I replaced the tailgate bolts on. So I might as well use them here. All right, come on. We got them bolts lined up. Well, maybe we don't. I have half of that squozed out before I get this on, which is fine. Get back there where you belong. That should be close enough. I've had this together once. Well, you guys see me. Not too long ago. We're going to give her a little push. Hope for the best. All right. Here we go. Sorry about that. Here we go. That did it. Oh, yeah. Kind of scared me. So, we put one here in the back. I'm just going underneath where you can't see and putting them in the cab part. Climb back under this back part. Hit my head. Perfect. See if I can get one in here. If not, I'll do it later. It's got to fit, right? You would think. Look at. Oh, I thought it went right in. Oh, I guess it didn't. Well, guess what? I'll do that later. I said it. I don't know why that didn't line up. It kind of bothers me. I kind of need that one in there. So I'm struggling. Nothing I can move. Why didn't that line up? Placement's pretty good. Our groove is lined up good. This stuff is all in good. Is it that critical? I don't know. I'm scared. I think I'm going to leave it. Our groove looks good. It might have to come out of touch. But it's awful close to being where I want it. But sometimes close ain't good enough. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. I can live with it. I can live with it. Let's just leave it alone. Now, I say that, but now I want to put some tuck screws in this way. Got a little bit on my hand. Probably be fine if I didn't, but there's a little lip right there. I'd rather get those pulled together. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. So I'll take a couple of, where did they go? A couple of my little tuck screws. And we'll screw this down. Just overkill to be safe. There's no sense in doing too much, but any of you guys that know me, I can't help it but to do a little too much. My old theory, yep, right on the floor. My old theory is, yep, right on the floor. My old theory is, you only get one shot at this, really. So let's do it right now. I'll put one here. So these holes aren't going to hurt a thing. We can weld them up. I probably won't. I'll seam seal them when we're all done. A little noise here. Now I got to go through both, or I'll have to drill it. See, I was afraid of that. Pull it right apart. There. It's exposed out a little bit. This hump is kind of a critical spot. I'm going to go on both sides of it rather than on the top. I think that'll do a better job. Oh, nice. Again, just when it squeezes the little bead out all the way. I'm pretty happy with this back. One here. There, very nice. One more in the back and I'll be satisfied. I'm pretty good with that. We got that stuff to squeeze out all the way around the edge. I think I ripped one of my gloves anyway, so I'll use that hand. Just spread it down with your finger. You'll use less seam seal later. You've already paid for this. You might as well use it. Just kind of make everything a little bit smooth if you can. And you know I haven't ground the whole floor and redid all that yet. We will. There's no sense in doing it all right now. I don't really like that, but a little spot there. I don't have enough seam seal. That's pretty close. I just used my other glove. Dang it. This stuff gets rock hard, so you might as well use it for filling that angle, because you got a little bit of metal higher on this side than you do on that side. Never going to notice when you get the carpet on. Absolutely never in a million years. Let's make sure we keep all the water out of it. We'll seam seal it again later, make sure no water can creep in behind what we just did. Because once you get water behind those two pieces of metal, you know what happens. And there are going to be dirty boots in here and mud and whatever's going to come through. Of course, we'll have everything coated a million times, but each step, I just want to make sure it's coated. Now that should hold that rocker in there permanently. It's where we want it. It's lined up in the front good. Lined up over here good. Got it bolted from the inside. I'll put another bolt on the inside after you guys are gone. I'll show you how this all looks in a second. Got her right and tight where I want it. Get that glove off. That's why I wear gloves. All right, so let me throw some trash, and we'll keep moving right along. Guys like me that work on this a little at a time, we kind of have a benefit. I don't think we need to leave this on either. That's good. I want to show you what we exposed over here. But I want to let this set before I get in here and start leaning on stuff. And when you work on a vehicle, you know, every day or two, sometimes only twice a week, you can come in here and do some of these jobs that need to be set up and cured, and you can go home. And you're using that temporary quick stop time. Come out here for just an hour and get some things done and not be bumping this and moving this. And while this is curing, you don't want to move it. You end up getting little gaps and air gaps in it, and it loses some strength. Right now we have that hook solid. Very happy. Very happy. Let me take this off and kind of show you the inside view. Let's do that real quick. Actually, before I do, we have this stuff mixed up, so I'll take care of this. This is easy to take care of. You simply unscrew these tips that you buy. They're pretty cheap. And you have your two-part epoxy here. The rest of the tube is unmixed. They're separated. I got it on my hand because I didn't have a glove on. Anyhow, there's a little cap that goes in there. The part that I said, yep, on the floor. Because everything likes to go on the floor. Look on. So this is the part that came out. And you'll see on the end here, black on one side and clear goo on the other. And that's the way you put this tip right back in there. Now it's going to goop some out because this is full. But that's all right. It's not going to hurt a thing. It won't mix. Get that in there good. Get your paper towel, wipe it off, and you save the rest of this $75 tube. Better than caulk. You can do this, and I put it right back into a plastic baggie, and this will last another year if you don't get back to it. So it's not like you got to be a busy shop and keep using the stuff. Or a lot of things like that are the home user just can't use. Too expensive. But when you can cap it off and save it like that, this comes out like a regular caulk gun, really. Comes out the side. Real easy, except on camera. Put that back in the whole baggie, and she's good to go. We only use, well, you can see, but we didn't use but a very little bit of that. So we got plenty left. We got plenty left to do, but we didn't use up a whole tube today, so that's a good thing. Just wiping my hand off here real quick so I can get a glove back on it. I want to pull that outer rocker off. I mean, it'd probably be smart to leave it, but you know what? I'm going to do the smart thing. Oh, I threw that tip away. I was going to glue this box back together. We'll do it next time. Yeah, that tip's right there. I kind of prefer to do this lower box. There's no way I'm going to be able to sand between those two. But all we're going to do is pry it away a little bit. We'll do it. Just take a second. It's always that. Just take a minute. Take a minute. But being that I have that dirty tip, I can just put it right back on and re-clean it. Not the end of the world. We'll get that glued together so when we start working next time on the floor, the inner floor and all, we won't have this glued and held with clamp or anything. We'll have her glued together good. So let me grab that again. Just take a second. And we'll keep right on it. All right, that's back together. I didn't throw that tip away, did I? Oh, right there. Oh, I'm right in your way. Come on. Get that out of there. It makes no difference how this tip goes on. No. I know it didn't before, but it doesn't now. All right, we're just going to squeeze this inside of this gap. Get as much in there as we can. And again, we could tech screw it and everything else if we wanted. I don't think this one's that critical. I'll put a couple clamps. Just bring it out a little extra far. Go all the way up to the top. I could actually spread that a touch. There we go. just so we can get it to go in there a little better. Stuff's a little thick, almost like that tar I like, but it quickly becomes thinner. Does that make sense? It gets shiny. Lays down on its own pretty good. Remember, you think, man, you're just gluing that together? That little caulk ain't gonna hold nothing. You got to remember, this is panel bond, structural strength. It's gonna hold this easy. Get more than 50 years out of it, I'll tell you that. Well, I don't know. It's not been around for 50 years. It should last a really long time. It's good stuff. That back. I don't know. One clamp going to be enough. I'm going to push it to bottom. Make sure we got it inside. I think that's good. I want a little tight. Well, I don't want to go super tight. Remember, you want to leave some in there. So just as soon as they contact, just enough to hold your pliers together, we're good. Let's get another set up here. Same thing. Loosen your pliers up. Just give her a little squeeze. That's all. That might even be tight enough. Let's go a little more. What do you think? Touch more? I better stop. You can see it squeezing out the whole way. I'm going to look on the inside and see if I can tell if it's squeezing out. I don't want to get my shirt and this other stuff. Yep, I got just a little bit coming in all the way down. You know how it looks. Just like this, a little bumpy in spots. So that'll cure up good. We're still going to use seam seal when we get done, run our finger inside of there so that the water dripping off the top of this rail coming through here doesn't rot out all this and run inside the floor pan again. So it doesn't look like we did a lot, but we did get something accomplished here, folks. We've got this floor pan back to the water box. I'm just joking, the air box. We got this inner structure, the lip done. We do have this rocker lined up for next time. I'll have that all coated down except for where the glue goes. And then we'll put this in permanent next time so you'll be able to see what's under here and how those bolts all work from the inside. But that'll be rock solid. And then we might seam seal. It depends on if I get this back fixed. Now the back, it's butted up really close. So they didn't overlap enough for me to glue together, but they did come just tip to tip. So I'm going to be able to sneak in here left-handed, which I don't like, with a welder, and I can weld that all the way back to the back. We can get that all put together. Oh, I was going to put a little of that in the back. I know you guys can't see me back here. I could do it after I got off camera, but while I'm thinking about it, where this inner rocker meets the back panel, it would have been nice to put some panel bond before it went in, but just, you're asking for trouble. You can do it after. This stuff it'll drip right down in there. And I just don't want to forget it for later. And I would prefer to use this on 2 panels than seam seal. Because remember, seam seal is just that. You're just sealing a seam, where this stuff is actually going to bond it. It's a lot stronger than just a plain seam seal. So we'll get this in here. That way we know that the back, probably overkill. I keep saying it, probably too darn much. No sense in worrying about it. But for the 2 squeezes it took me, I'll tell you another neat trick. A little of this stuff right on your glove. Now you can take your finger with that on there and just one time over. Don't mix it up or nothing. I said one time. The second wipe is just getting the part I spilled. Not that anybody's going to see it. But you go one time over it and you're not mixing in with it. So what I'm getting at is you're just taking that bead and you're sliding over the top of it. If you keep going, you'll mix that WD right in it, and I think it'll ruin the bond. But one time over the top, it makes your finger super slippery and it'll leave a basically perfect finish. Sorry about that. You know, compressor always kicks on video. So again, I do this kind of stuff. I don't know why. It's all going to get seam sealed and painted and everything else. But a clean workstation is a happy workstation. That's looking good. get you in close, kind of see how that's smoothing itself out. Very, very happy. I'm not going to run my finger down that one. I'm going to leave that alone. The inside is very little squeezing out, so I'm not worried about it either. Get you in where you can see what we did today. A little better. Probably seeing there pretty good. That black seam sealer right there. Let go. There, that's better. Squeezing out around that. Again, I can't get a wire wheel or anything in there. It's pretty clean. Just a little surface rust. I'll run some of that rust converter on it next time. I didn't want to do the rust converter first. I might leave that on. Just because it doesn't bond to it like it does bare metal. But you can see how that's starting to settle. Leaves a shiny, smooth finish. It's going to be just fine. Oh, it's not got to be perfect. We're going to be under carpet, under a drip rail, all kinds of stuff. So that's in there. We got that accomplished. I don't know. It's been a couple weeks trying to get to that point. But one step at a time. We'll get her all done. My gap here for my seal is in good shape. When the seal slides on, I didn't keep any of it, but it actually goes into this groove and sets in there. So you can't fill that groove with caulk or sealant like you probably would like, or I would like, but your door seal sits right in and holds it. And I didn't realize this until I started working on these trucks a few years ago. I seen that any water that comes off your boot and hits this rail, it actually runs down into this groove intentionally, and I didn't know that. I should have showed it to you. Right here in the middle, they have a dent or a little whoop to it. So if the water comes down, it goes into the rocker, between the inner and outer rocker, and allows that water to drip out in the rocker and off onto the ground. Looks better than it running across your footwell here or pooling up someplace. Not overly fond of all that water in the rocker because your rockers rot out. But we're going to make sure that doesn't happen again. You've already seen how we've done rust prevention around here. We'll keep moving on with that. What do you say we cut this out real quick? I'm curious what's in there. You guys can tolerate a little more noise. A little cutting action. Do we have time today? I don't know. Time just flies anymore. Oh, we only got a few minutes. Let's just chop this off and take a look in there. I sometimes wonder when Tom's watching these videos if he doesn't think, wow, you just run that right in my truck anywhere you want. Knowing him, it's not bothering him, but I'm just curious what he thinks. This one isn't as bad, but I think right here. That should be enough. Well, by the looks of it, there shouldn't be as much in there. See, how else are you ever going to clean this? We're going to have to find a way not to allow this to happen again. What we got in here? Little bean pod. Oh, look at there. Look what I found. How in the world did that get in there? That's a good set of tweezers. I'll be polishing them up, and well, they're not mine. But I'll put them in my toolbox and tell Tom, or give them back to him. How funny is that? So we got a bean pod, a pair of tweezers. I needed a good laugh today. Looks like windshield wiper. Yeah, that's a windshield wiper part right there. It fell off one years ago. A little more bean that I can make out. A round piece of rubber, some nuts, lots of rust, more nuts. Ooh, what you got here? I think that's more windshield wiper blade. Dirt, they always have pine needles. Now, we won't be able to block all the pine needles, but I'll put that screen. Well, I'll show you that later. We're going to screen this off and make sure that we don't get a lot of mice and dirt and all the sticks and debris and stuff in here. There's quite a bit in there, but nothing. I don't think there's any more tweezers in there. Yeah, that's more pine stuff. I want to know if there's anything else in there. Come on. We got tweezers. There ain't any nose trimmers in here? Nail clippers? Oh, maybe a hairbrush? Well, I'm glad you guys are here to see it with me. Tweezers, word of the week. Gotta go. Hey, thanks for coming. We'll see you next week. We're going to work on this outer rocker panel. I got some restructure to do in here. I might have it done before you get here, but you'll see what I did and how this rocker comes on and off. We're going to glue it in as well. And then we're going to see about that the pinch point between the outer and the inner. We've got to figure out if we want to pinch weld that, if we want to glue that together, which is likely what I want. But I want to make sure this is done. Next week that'll be a lot more. And this week was just kind of getting the structure set. So again, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. How about 2 pushes today? 1, 2.